All right, as we fade back in, Luny, you are standing in a dark, dark area with very loud music volume. Give me 1 second with that. There you go. Um, in a very dark area with nothing around you, and you hear a voice. Ah, seems like we can't have you go leaving us like this now, can we? I think we may need to leave you here for a moment while I get things prepared for you all. You have more things that you need to do.
I was doing the things that I needed to do, though.
A chuckle happens off in the distance with the same feminine voice. Ah, but were you? Seems like you ran into a little bit of trouble there, but it's okay. I've been asked, so I will fix it for you.
I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, you will soon. But stay here for a while and see what happens. And with that, it brightens up, and you find yourself in a very dirty, dingy cobbled alley. Looking down, and the vantage point is very familiar. You're a much younger version of yourself, maybe 11, 12 years old, wandering the streets of your home city like you used to as a child. Ah, the music volume, it is back to harass us. There you go.
This can't be. This is my old hiding spot.
Looking in through the window there, you find a tavern. It's not the most upscale in the town, but respectable for the area. And it seems like they're the tail end of their night. You know, a lot of people have been leaving, and it seems like the musical entertainment is rounding up their last couple songs, playing music. There's a man at the front stage, dressed in purple and silver regalia, playing music and singing a very jaunty tune. Seems like a farewell song with lyrics you don't quite get the meaning of, but seem happy and seem to garner some laughs and cheers from the audience, so you assume they're well.
I remember coming here all the time. Wait. Looking down the alley, is there anything I notice?
Looking down the alley, it seems to be not exactly the alleys that you're familiar with. They seem to have some odd twists and turns. But as you are kind of trying to wrap your head around that and think about what's going on here, you hear a bit of a commotion out in the street. Seems like the patrons are leaving and there may be a little bit of a disagreement. Out in the street over here, you have, pardon. Out in the street, you see the same man in the purple regalia being accosted by 4 men. All right, I know you're dressed a little too well for this area. You've got the coin. Why don't you just part with it and you can walk back to your nice fancy carriage here? The man just kind of seems to scoff. Ah, you don't intimidate me. I've dealt with your ilk before. You know, I frequent this area. Music is for everyone. As the guy in front of him grabs him by the front of the shirt and puts a knife up to his neck and says, well, maybe you don't need your head. If you're laying on the cobbles bleeding out, I don't think anyone's gonna stop me from taking your purse. From your vantage point, Luny, you actually see just beyond these gruff men a guard sneaking up slowly on the area. Unfortunately, as he's getting close, the man in the purple regalia looks up at him unexpectedly, almost shocked to see him there. The bandit holding him looks back, spooks, and then shoves the knife forward. The knife plunges into the well-dressed man's neck as you hear this gurgle as he drops to the ground, bleeding and clutching at the knife in his throat. The other bandits turn to the guard and quickly pull out daggers and start ganging up on him, and soon he's on the ground also. In the middle of this tussle, you're just appalled by what you've seen. Even on the streets, this is a incredible amount of violence.
Of course, it had to be this night.
You see, looking at this area in sheer horror, the side of the carriage is something that you didn't notice. Even in all of the haunted memories you've had of this moment, you never quite noticed that emblazoned on the side of the carriage in gold filigree is a viola bow with music notes around it. A house emblem that you are all too familiar with.
What? On the carriage? But that means the night that he died. That doesn't make any sense, though.
As you speak to yourself, you realize maybe your thoughts are not quite to just yourself, as the man who had just murdered the well-dressed man stops and he looks into the alley and his eyes meet yours and says, "Oi, what are you doing in there, kid?"
Having just witnessed the atrocity I did, I'm going to run.
As you begin running down the alleyway, you hear footsteps behind you and say, "Oi, stop that kid! We can't let him get out of here. You can't tell anyone what's happened." As you run ahead, you see a low fence with boxes in front of it blocking your way. Roll an acrobatics check.
$16? No, 17.
All right, so you're able to make it over them. Fairly simple obstacle as you scramble over them, scraping up your hands and knees in the tattered outfit of yours. As you continue to run in this dark, dingy alleyway, you find crumbled debris in front of you, seemingly from a collapsed wall.
Just gonna keep scrambling through as fast as I can.
Sorry, now you able. God, I realized my sound wasn't going through over that past bit. You're able to make it over the debris, no problem. Coming around the corner, you run into an alleyway mostly packed full of boxes with a narrow gap in the middle. You still hear the shouts and yells behind you as they're getting closer and closer to your location.
I'm gonna try and squeeze through.
All right. Go ahead and make another acrobatics check.
That's much higher than I thought it was. 20 is it? The last one would have been 21.
Well, you're able to squeeze through, no problem. You kind of shove the boxes out of the way as you're shimmying through, coming around the corner to find yet another obstacle. There's a wrought iron fence blocking this neighborhood off from the next, and it seems like there are broken posts, but it's still mostly intact.
How many of these things were there? Like, I just remember, like, some boxes. I'm gonna try and get through it or climb it if I can.
All right. What are the actions you're going to be taking to get over this? Are you going to try to climb it or squeeze through?
I'm gonna try and climb it first.
All right, go ahead and make another athletics or acrobatics, whichever you prefer.
9.
All right, you're unable to make any handholds as you're trying to go over, and the few bars that you try to climb up over seem to bend and not be able to support your weight. As you hear the metal bar snap off, voices behind you, "Oi, I think they're down this way!" And you hear them shoving at the boxes behind you.
Just gonna try and fit through. If I get cut, I get cut.
All right, roll another acrobatics or athletics.
That is an 11.
All right, so you squeeze through the broken bars, but unfortunately it seems to catch fast on your arm and gashes you in deeply, dealing you 3 points of damage. And whatever jacket you are wearing, the outer layer, seems to be so caught up that you're unable to free it from the bars, and you're stuck fast.
It was already torn enough.
All right, so you're going to abandon the jacket?
Yeah, just let it go.
All right, you leave it there, and not so soon after you leave the jacket behind, you see the bandits run up to the fence, start banging on it, saying, "Oi, oi, kid, get back here!" And you hear them yanking at the bars, trying to break them off.
I'll make the first turn and run just as fast as I can. Oh, no, no, no. This can't be a dead end. Do I still hear them?
Yes. You aren't that far off, so you can still hear them yanking at the bars, and you hear a couple pings and snaps as it seems like they're able to break off a couple of the loose bars.
Seeing as this is a dead end, I'm gonna just run back and then make a full dash for just continuing on straight onwards to get away.
All right. Sorry, my audio was not going through. As you run down the corridor, you see an intersection with an oddly opulent door standing open in front of you. To the right and to the left, there is a well-built fence on one end. On the other end, it seems like a collapse of stored goods is blocking the path in either way. The door seems to be your only option forward.
I dodge into the room.
As you go through the doorway, it is suddenly bright to your eyes, and you're having trouble seeing. As you're blinking to get your vision back and you look down, you realize you're a bit older now. Maybe, 16, 15. Slightly dingier clothes. You've been on the streets for quite a few more years, and the music is very loud again. I did not equalize the sound very well when I prepared this board. Standing in the doorway there, you see a familiar face, staring at you. Ah, seems like you finally made it to us, little one.
Baroness?
Ah, so you know who I am.
Everybody knows who you are.
Ah, I guess that is fair, but I didn't think the, street folk, she has a slight grin on her face, quite concern themselves with courtly affairs. So, do you know I've brought you here today?
I would imagine you have work to be done, maybe?
Oh, yes, there is work to be done, but not the work that you're used to. And with this, the matronly woman walks a little closer to you. See, even from here, I can look at you and see the resemblance. You don't quite know who you are, do you?
I am Loony.
Such a fitting name. I guess coincidences do happen. You are the bastard child of my late husband. And with those words, the doors behind you slam shut, almost with a finality to them.
I would really rather the doors were open.
Oh, no, no, no. That's not so much of an option anymore. You see, we're in quite of a bind, and I think you are the answer to our issues. And in fact, I think this might work out well for all of us.
Oh, what is that?
You are to be the new heir to the house. I know you've grown up on the streets, but I think we can make you presentable.
And why would you make me heir out of any random child out?
Oh, you may be my husband's bastard, but, you know, we don't really have many other options. The court, they know he was of certain virtues, so it won't come to an incredible shock of them. But if we don't outright say anything about your legitimacy of your birth, no one will question it. It will be whispered, sure, especially with your infernal heritages, but those rumors can be dismissed. Won't be of much concern. We can teach you. You can become a very, very powerful person in the city.
I mean, it doesn't seem like I get much of a choice in this.
I mean, you can always deny this and we can find another. I'm sure my husband left plenty of forgotten ones around. But you seem to be doing well on the streets, and you're the only one I have been able to confirm for sure. And I think you have what it takes to be able to stand up to the people who, you know, who frequent the courts of this city. I believe you can become the new matron of this family.
But it had that you're already the matron to this family. I mean, I accept, because who wouldn't want to have all of this?
I am the matron for now, but I get on in age, and with the unfortunate passing of my late husband these years back, mortality seems a lot closer than it used to be. So I want to hedge my bets, make sure this family stays strong. And from our previous experiences, I believe the best hands for this family to be in is with another woman. And a proper, noble woman is what we will make of you.
I don't like the sound of that.
Oh, it won't be as awful as you think it is. You may not have the same freedoms, as she says sarcastically, as you did on the streets, but there is a certain freedom within wealth and power. If you are able to grasp that power and grasp that influence, you can do whatever you want in this city.
Okay, I, I'll take your word for it for now.
Well, I think the first steps here shall be to get you a bath. You are ill-dressed and ill-fit to be seen by anyone other than the servants. And then we will discuss about your enrollment in the Bard's College. You may be an illegitimate heir to this throne, but you shall learn the family trade one way or another. Now off with you, upstairs. The servant shall show you towards the bathing chamber.
Wait, it's a bath all to myself?
Why, of course. The only people of noble birth in this house other than you is me. The servants have their own baths and their own quarters. They will assist you with yours.
Yeah, of course. I'm just gonna start walking upstairs towards where she motioned.
Oh, wait, before you go.
Yeah, yes.
She follows you up the stairs with a fine courtly grace, almost seeming to glide up the stairs as her feet are contained within her voluminous silks. She hands you a book. She says, This is the last diary I found of your father's. It is how I found out about you. I believe you should read through it. I've read through it many, many times and already know what it contains, but it might help you with coming to terms with this whole situation.
Thank you.
She places the book in your hands. It's rather large for a diary, very thick, well-made paper on a leather-bound cover.
I take it and like run my hands over it before putting it to the side, like holding it on my side.
All right, well, off with you now, and don't get it wet.
Yes, ma'am. With that, I just quickly walk away.
The door in front of you opens, and the lighting changes, and you find yourself in one of the large lecture halls of the Bard's College.
Why does it keep getting brighter every door?
Thematics, that's why. It's the internal dramatization of Luny's mind. Everything has to be a theatrical production. As you walk through, you see a lot of your old colleagues, or fellow students, I should say, from the Bard's College, whispering and talking amongst themselves, and everything is slightly muffled. You can't quite catch the whole conversation that happens among them, but you hear little snatches talking about you, talking about events that have happened since you were in the Bard's College. Various times where you've, been the life of the party or been unavailable from certain court gatherings that they've all gone to. Just general anecdotes about your time there.
This is an odd one.
Looking around the lecture hall, out in the back corner, you see a door that's out of place.
And that isn't supposed to be there. I'm gonna make my way towards it.
Coming up to it, you find its silver filigreed handle and the emblem on the front of it, and it reminds you of your father's office. And as it opens, you find that is precisely where it goes to. A place that you spent a lot of time at when you were younger. A place to get away from the rest of the family. Over the years, it's been left completely untouched by your mother. Though she does understand her late husband's failings and have learned a lot of his marital treachery during that time, she still seems to hold a place in her heart for him and did not have the heart to move a single thing. So you were generally left alone while you were in here.
I walk over behind the desk and start to just put my hand over the papers and things that I had looked through before.
On the desk, there are various papers that have been left there, dated years upon years prior. But among them is a stack of letter correspondence, dated to someone in the royal family of a neighboring kingdom. It seems like in these letters, he addresses him as cousin.
Ah, what were you doing, Baron? What were you talking about? What's so important that I'm here again?
Leafing through these correspondence, going back and forth, it seems like in later age, your father was asking about a odd thing called the alchemy forge that apparently he had seen when he was younger, frequenting the palace in Altera. Um, you're able to grasp from the correspondence and piecing together memories from speaking with your mother that your family was loosely related to the royal family of Altera. And as a kid, he would frequent summers there as it was a cooler climate and was a good way to keep relations between the families. It seems like the letters are going back and forth, probing about questions about the alchemy forge and what it might mean. It seems like the return letters are very stern and not wanting to speak about the subject. But your father is undaunted with his relentless letters, asking about it, and then insinuating about his conclusions on what it may be and what it may mean for what happened thousands of years ago within that country, and how the people must know and the story must be finished.
It's something that I pick up these correspondence and I place them within the book. Like this is something I have to figure out. This is something for me to do. This is the story that needs to be told.
Your mother walks into the room. It's a bit of a shock to you, as over these years, you've never seen her walk into this office. You don't believe she ever had the strength to do so. She walks up towards the desk and stands across the desk from you, looking at you, and says, "Ah, I was wondering where you were at. Are you all right?"
Yes, mother. I'm quite fine. It's just going over some old documents on the Baron's desk.
I've never had the strength to do that myself, but I know the servants have mentioned that you spend time in here, so I thought maybe I could come in and spend some time in here too with you if it's important. I have something to speak to you about.
Yeah, yes. What is it?
You see your mother's now aged features. You know, as you have aged, your mother is still a very strong, courtly woman, but she has warmed up to you, especially after you've come back from college. She softens her expression and says, "I understand that we've been hard on you over the past few years, making sure that you are ready for what's going to be coming with this family." And
Hard is an understatement.
she chuckles. I know, but in a few years, we needed to make of you what people are born and grown into in other families to make sure that you can be strong and stand up against these other court families and make sure that our family still is able to prosper within the city and make positive change for the people. I know it's clear that we want you to be the heir to this family, but at the moment, we are still in good standing, and I am in good health. I think it is time for you to go and see the world.
Oh, so I do actually get to take travels? I thought we had
Yes.
talked about this before.
Well, before we were making sure that you were ready to see, to take over the family, to stand in the king's court. But now I think it's good for you to follow the family trade, go learn songs, travel, and become worldly, because that's what the court will expect. And I think with you gone, I will be able to focus on my effects of changing the king's mind on a few very key points, like the fact that I have been running our family with no husband for uh, some on 20 years now. Um, I believe it would be good for you to be out of the city during these proceeds, as I make sure the court comes around to my point of view, so that when you do come back and are ready to take on the family, you will be set up in a good position and have the world knowledge to be able to contend with some of these people.
I will definitely take this time. Thank you. I think I have an idea of what I might do too.
That is good. That is good. I know your father and his brothers and his father's father and uncles, and they've all gone on similar journeys like this, and they've always come back the better for it. Might I ask what you're planning on going and doing?
Oh, I plan to go to the capital, to Altera.
Oh, um, well, that is perfect. Here, you do know that we have family there, right?
We do.
Yes, yes. Your father was related. He is cousins with the prince, or, well, I guess not so much a prince anymore, um, of Altera. But I believe, here, give me one moment. And she grabs some paper and a quill from the writing desk and begins furiously scribbling things down.
I mean, Mother, you've shown me the family tree quite well. I do know who he was related to, who
Ah,
we're
yes.
related to.
she she chuckles. Yes, yes. I'm glad you remember your studies, but I think a letter of introduction to a distant family member is still in need in this kind of situation. And if you plan on going to Altera, I hope that you will have a good reception and some resources to pull on while you're there. She finishes up the letter, she folds it back over, and seals it with the silver tune crest on the front. She hands it over the desk to you and says, "Please, if you are going to be heading out there, present this at the castle and you will have a very warm welcome. If I'm not
Uh,
able to take care of you while you're out there, I'll make sure the family can."
I reach over the desk and I take the letter before walking around the desk to uh to hug her and just like thank you for that. It's I know it's not easy what you've had to go through these last few years and before.
No, it wasn't, and I imagine it wasn't for you either. Going from a completely different world and into the chaos of the politics of this nation. But it's something that's necessary, and I think with your street smarts, your education, and your eloquence, you can follow in my footsteps when I'm no longer able to lead this family and bring this city into a new, more modern age where maybe we aren't so bracketed by the beliefs of the past and the tyranny that happens in some of these families. Bring the noble families back to where they serve the people properly. But that may just be a fancy, and I'm not sure if we are able to make it. But I'm going to damn well try. She brings you back into another embrace and seems to sniffle a little bit and says, "Well, I can do whatever you need for," um as her voice wavers, to prepare you for this journey, but I think it's good that you plan most of it yourself. Learn as much as you can while you're out there, and I will try to be in letter correspondence with you as soon as you get there to keep you up to date on what's happening here, and it if we'll eventually need you back.
I will write whenever I can.
Thank you so much. As she holds you and squeezes you a little bit tighter, as she seems to
It's
be crying a little bit.
tight there.
You do feel the pressure on you lessen a bit as the darkness envelops everyone again. You hear the voice that you heard earlier today again. Ah, so sweet. Such a touching story.
Yeah, it was. So why are you bringing it up now?
I think that the past is a good thing to reflect on as you move on into the future. You have a lot that will be coming at you these future days, and I believe remembering where you came from is an important step.
It's a little hard to forget.
And with that, we'll be closing the scene on Luny's dream. Well, I hope everyone was able to enjoy our stories today, get a little bit of a sneak peek into the backstories and motivations of our characters and where they're going and why they're going. We will be continuing with next week. We will be having the other two members of our party going through their backstory dream sequences, and then opening up into the continuation of our story in Altera.